Your move!
What is going on, you guys? Bastion YGO here, and welcome back as we take a look at my favorite archetype of all time, the Trickstar archetype, of course, the greatest deck that has ever existed in the history of this entire game. Now, pushing my bias aside, I do want to go ahead and talk about a little bit of the viability of Trickstar moving forward, how it's going to play out. I am trying out quite a few variants. If you ask anybody who knows me, or if anyone knows me, they already know I have at least anywhere between 6 to 15, 16 different Trickstar variants that I have built at all times. I'm always meddling with, trying to figure out what is the best way to play this deck. Now, I was going and testing in casual, in the casual playroom, just to see what I could find, and I ended up running them across a Swordsoul player in casual. And if for some reason this person seems to be watching, you know, maybe there's something we can take away from this, but essentially I want to talk about the viability of Trickstar as a whole, not just as a potential rogue strategy, but is it viable moving forward, and what will we see in this next ban list that might change or alter the opinion of how Trickstar is thought of in the current format. Now, there has been multiple different ways that Trickstar is trying to be played. A lot of people are trying to play with cards like Ready Fusion, and then just making it a very synchro spammy, fusion spammy deck, which I do see as a viable option. There are more people who are going the trap stun route, which again is a route that I very much condone myself. And then there are individuals who just want to play the pure Trickstar variant with still some hand traps, and then there are others who want to play the more Trickstar link heavy strategy, which I think is unfortunately currently the least viable option of all of those four. However, there are other alternatives, and I'll get to those at a later video. However, I just want to go ahead and see why I believe Trickstar has some competitive advantage moving forward in the current TCG format. Now, of course, this opening hand for Trickstar is absolutely incredible. You know, you have two hand traps, you got the Darkroom Nightmare for that extra burn damage, you got your one of Terraforming to get the light stage, and you got a Solemn Strike, and I'm going first. So overall, we're pretty well set up. I just want to go ahead and see how it's going to play out. Of course, again, this is me playing the Trickstars. Again, search Candina, not very difficult. Normal summon Candina, get the Lycris, make sure Darkroom Nightmare is on board, and then tag out, and then we set our strike, and then we are good to go. Now, the first advantage that I see with Trickstar moving forward is essentially just card knowledge overall and deck knowledge. There's a lot of reason why rogue strategies have such a good matchup at times going up against competitive meta decks, is because of just deck knowledge overall. For example, if I'm going up against a, for example, I lost to Code Talker a few weeks back, 2-3 weeks ago, mainly because I wasn't aware of the interactions that he was doing, and then again, it was partly on my end for not asking enough questions, but essentially just paying very close attention. Maybe I was negating the incorrect card at certain points. I didn't know where the bottleneck effect was, if there was one. You know, just essentially it comes down to deck familiarity. Now, I'm not sure if this guy had played against Trickstar before or had it out for me, but essentially he was basically saying F you the entire time we were playing together because I'm playing Trickstar. This is one that I probably should have held off on the Solemn Strike. I was definitely going to ash that Swordsoul Emergence. However, the Strike, I probably should have waited until he actually had a more viable option on board. However, I did originally think at the time to just stun it out and just hope for the best moving forward. Eventually, he does end up making more or less of a play, so we'll go ahead and see this out. Now, of course, with Darkroom Nightmare on board, any card he adds to his hand, each time he's adding a card to his hand, is saying he's taking a minimum of 1,000 points of damage. So he already did that when he took his draw for turn. We'll go ahead and take that again because Lycris and Light Stage are burning, which means Darkroom Nightmare will activate twice to negate it. And that right there was the first, I think, mistake. Is if I have Candina, if my opponent is aware that I have Candina in my hand, and they bounce the Lycris back to my hand, is pretty much giving the Trickstar player a free out in order to navigate any obstacles they may have. That way, it can dodge hand traps, things like that. So essentially, by using Vishuda's effect to add it back to my hand, he is aiding my efforts and helping me move forward in my playstyle, which then comes back to bite him, of course, later on in the match. So I'll gladly go ahead and take this damage. Essentially, as a Trickstar player, you're never afraid to take damage, because at the end of the day, you know that you are going to be the one dealing the highest amount of effect damage. As long as you survive that turn, you are good to go. That's why Scapegoat is also a really good card back in the day as well, because not only was it an offensive card, it was a fantastic defensive card. And the best thing about Trickstar is once you have that one Candina in your hand and you have a Lycris, you can keep going back and forth and keep making your same board over and over and over again. And with the cards that we've had added, like Trickstar Magical Laurel, Trickstar Festival, things like that, we have the opportunity to now not only make the same board, but if we happen to draw into those combo pieces as we're making that same board, we get to make it even better by adding a Holly Angel or going to Bella Madonna, things like that. So gladly I'll take the 2800, that's perfectly fine. We draw into Festival, great. So we're going to activate Light Stage to target the one set back row. Again, it comes down to deck knowledge. I haven't seen this card used before in Swordsoul, especially because it's blind. It wasn't a match, it was just like a 1 out of 1 type of game. So it's interesting to go ahead and play Witch's Strike. It's very interesting choice. However, if he would have gone first, he definitely would have gotten me because I definitely had Strike. So we draw into Trickstar Festival. We're going to go ahead and activate it, put it there. This is another part of where deck knowledge really starts to come into play, right? So here are the chain effects, right? So because my opponent will take damage because I normal summon Candina into a zone that Holly Angel points into, right? Then that's going to cause 200 points of burn damage. Not only that, Darkroom Nightmare is then going to activate, right, for that burn damage, and then Trickstar Holly Angel is also going to burn, and then Candina. So Darkroom Nightmare and Holly Angel are going to be mandatory effects, that's why they go first, and then Candina, because it is an optional effect, will go last. So on and so forth. Now the correct play to do here is to definitely go ahead and try to negate the Candina. I personally believe it, had he not bounced back the Lycris, which is another mistake, but essentially he ends up negating the Holly Angel, preventing it from gaining attack points, which again is not a bad strategy overall. But with Candina, I will be searching out the Corobane, which will then allow me to, no matter if he gets rid of the Holly Angel, I will still clearly beat over his monster, right? And again, this is just another thing that I believe Trickstar has an advantage, or most rogue decks in general have an advantage moving forward, is just the ability to catch your opponent off guard, and to be able to play cards that your opponent just might not be familiar with. And there's nothing wrong with that, it's just it gives you that certain edge over your opponent. So he's going to go into the Chaos Ruler. Of course, I'm not going to allow Tai A to resolve anything. The next card he's going to add to his hand, he's going to go ahead and take another 1,000 life points worth of damage. However, he does go ahead and surrender, so he would have had 1,600 life points next turn. Realistically, he's not going to be able to set up a negate. Normal summon Candina, Church Lily Bell, punch for 1,000. Bring back Lycris, special summon it, and then during the next draw phase, he essentially would die. And that's essentially why we ended up with taking that match. So that is kind of one thing that I did want to go ahead and point out to you guys, the viability, not just Trickstar, but Rogue in general. And I do believe Trickstar has a lot of viability moving forward. Again, we'll have to see what the ban list says. For anyone who is interested in the current variant that I'm doing, this is my Sky Striker. We're going to forgive anything you saw there. That is not what I want to show. That's me testing. So this is the current build that I'm playing right now. So I'm playing 3 Trickstar Corobane, of course, 3 Candina, 3 Lycris, 3 Ash, 3 Droll, 1 Lilybell. As far as the main deck monsters, playing 2 Triple Tactics Talents, 3 Extravagance. I'm going back and forth between Extravagance and Pot of Prosperity because I do see the benefit for both. Just having more cards in your hand with Extravagance and then the Prosperity effect to allow you to dig specifically for that Candina is really key as well. So I'm testing out both, see which one I like best. So far, I have been liking Extravagance just a little bit more in this deck. I seem to draw, if not the Candina, some trap card that will go ahead and push me through, or I end up drawing into Life Stage, which lets me add a Trickstar from my graveyard to my hand. Again, more recursion, things like that. So I am liking Extravagance so far. 3 Trickstar Festival. Essentially, this is going to be mainly a push card to summon out your Holly Angel quicker, or if you already have a Holly Angel, it helps you go into Belladonna that much faster as well. You play your 1 terraforming with your 2 terraforming targets, light stage and live stage, not the other one. The other one, light arena, whatever it's called, trash. Never play that card. 1 monster reborn, called by the grave, 3 dark room nightmare, 2 magical laurels, 3 Trickstar reincarnation, and triple strike. I think this is going to be the most consistent pure variant so far, pure burn variant I should say, because they are pure link variants. So pure burn variant deck, I think this is going to be the most optimal. Now Trickstar does have an FTK as well, which is really exciting with Trickstar Festival and chain summoning. However, it's really not most consistent because you need Candina, you need Dark Room Nightmare, and you need Chain Summoning to be in your hand. 2 of those are not searchable, so it's not something that I would think is consistent, but it's still there nonetheless. As far as the extra that goes, you play 3 Trickstar Bloom, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, and 1 Nightmare Unicorn. 1 Trickstar Devoritis, Devoritis, whatever. 2 Crimson Hearts, 3 Holly Angel, 2 Foxglove, probably gonna be the second best Trickstar Link monster out there, and then Belladonna to help you push for game. Essentially, you want to make Belladonna in your rightmost main monster zone. That way, it's never affected by any card effects. And it lets you go ahead and continuously burn your opponent for each 200 for each Trickstar monster with a different name in your graveyard and keep moving forward. So these are the cards that I've been testing as well. Contract with Don 1000 is a card I used to play back in the day. It's really cool. Chain Summoning, again, Power Prosperity. So again, as far as Trickstar viability, I do see the potential still there. I will be showing off a few other Trickstar variants in the future, so let me know which Trickstar variant you guys want to see in the future, and I'll go ahead and see if I can make the best optimal version of that. But so far, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Leave a like if you guys did enjoy, and also leave a like for more Trickstar content. I know I am the self-proclaimed Trickstar King. Even though I haven't topped with it, I just love the deck so much. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Subscribe for more videos, and I'll go ahead and see y'all in the next one. Also, before the end of this year, one of my resolutions is to top a regional with the Trickstar deck. Last time I was playing in live regionals, or they had live regionals, I placed 65th out of a top 64 with Trickstar. Unfortunately, we got close, but you know, we could do a little better. So yeah, we'll see if we can make that happen, see if more in-person events actually come to fruition. Unfortunately, Pasadena was canceled, but hopefully the next one we'll be able to go ahead and be safe enough in order for us to play in person. So I know I rambled on there for a little bit, but again, that's just, I guess, the way I was feeling. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one.